Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of WakesetGO. I'm your host, Mercedes, digital marketing consultant, ready to dive into today's topic. Today, we're going to be talking about the Lunar New Year, known as the Chinese New Year. So, if you're of interest of what this year means, then you are in for a treat. I'm basically going to go over what the New Year traditions look like and also what the symbol for this year is set to bring. So it's interesting stuff as I've been doing some research. The Chinese New Year, it's usually marked on the first new moon, and it's usually between January 21st through February 20th that it's celebrated. So it's a series of different customs and traditions. A lot of Chinese households, they've thoroughly cleaned typically before the official start of the holiday just to get rid of the previous year's bad luck and to usher in good luck for the new year. Red is typically the color of joy and good fortune in the Chinese culture. So that is what you're going to see typically on doors and decorations. Formal celebrations typically start with the family reunion. Usually, the new year is marked with gatherings of family and friends. Public celebrations, you typically will see fireworks shows, prayers for prosperity, and just a celebration with food. This New Year is one of the largest and most attended of any in the Chinese culture. Typically, it's celebrated in Vietnam, Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Singapore, among other countries. So, as you can see, the Chinese New Year is pretty much a big deal. I know that a lot of people wait for it to come and kick off. I actually did a couple of celebrations myself just because it's exciting no matter what you believe or practice, just to be able to welcome in the Lunar New Year and what it all represents. Now, what's unfortunate when thinking about some of these celebrations, because they are dealing with different cultures, is the state that we're in as a country when it comes to DEI, because Chinese New Year is something that is a cultural inclusive activity that hits on the spectrum of diversity and what it means to celebrate other cultures and experiences. And so some limitations, unfortunately, I feel like can be triggered and affected by how people are able to be celebrated or able to publicly celebrate. Thankfully, I've still been able to see some public events and people are able to come together and just be unified and just actually have a fun time celebrating with other people. That's always nice to know and see that regardless to what's going on, people are able to really keen in on what's important. And this year, zodiac animal that is represented for this year, it is the snake. I saw somewhere where it said the wooden snake, but the snake is what's represented this year. And what that means and what that can mean, I mean, for those that don't celebrate, of course, business as usual. But for those that are curious what the year of the snake means, year of the snake is a time to be reflective. It's a time to build resources and plan thoughtfully. I think that right there just says a lot because we are in 2025. This is a time, a great moment for us to reflect, to build, and to just think through things before we just jump in and take action. People typically born in the year of the snake are said to be calm, wise, observant, and also a bit mysterious. The year of the snake is also a time for change and for you to seek personal growth. And doing all this preparation, it reminds me of WakesetGO, the set part being that you're preparing, you're investing in yourself, you're investing in knowledge, you're building yourself up, you're preparing to make thoughtful decisions that are going to help you achieve long term success. Sometimes we think that success is going to happen overnight because we proclaim it, or because we're starting a class, or we're starting school, or we're doing a new program, or we're trying to get a certification, or we're applying for a specific job or a contract with a specific client. But a lot of times, the decisions that we make leading to that all help us to reach success. So that business idea, you had to go through different hurdles, different challenges, and beyond that, just different experiences in general. Sometimes travel, going to new places, connecting with new people, experiencing new cultures can open up your mind and horizon to what's out there. It can stimulate you to engage and come up with new ideas that can help you to understand. So the reflection part of knowing who you are, being self-aware, knowing what your strengths are. Like, what are your skills that you're good at? What are you naturally good at? What is it that brings you the most enjoyment doing? And finding things around that you can create and put out there to share with the world. I was having a conversation with someone just about some of the things that I've noticed with starting a new school program. Sometimes you have to consider the time it takes to finish to get to the next milestone. Everybody handles and achieves success differently. Some people go to school, graduate, get their degree, and they get a job that's not nearly what they went to school for. And then you have some people who can go to school, it prepares them, they're able to make the right connections and get in a field that is definitely what they went to school for, what they learned, what they prepared for. So you can't just emulate and think that if you do exactly what somebody else did, you're going to get the same results, because that's not going to happen. I know that for me, whenever I set goals, I understand that there's going to be time that I'm going to have to put in and practice and build up to where I want to be at. It's not going to happen tomorrow or even next week. Some people may think that, but it's a lot of preparation and background things that people aren't noticing that you're doing. Just like for people that are going to real estate school and they're becoming real estate agents. Yeah, it takes time for you to study. It takes time for you to learn the lesson. It's going to take time for you to prepare to take that exam. Some people pass on the first time, some people don't. Some people have to take it multiple times. And that's the first step to getting your real estate license. And then actually being the agent, you're basically having to find and work under a broker. You're having to find your market, understand your market, actually sell homes. Like, that's a whole process in itself. It takes a lot of time to get there to do that. It doesn't just happen after you get your real estate license. You don't just immediately become $1 million seller. What's going to lead to that success? So, if you are someone that is taking on or studying for something, just know that it's going to take time, but it's going to equate to long term success. It's a process time. You have to invest in yourself. What does that mean to represent and be knowledgeable and be that subject matter expert? It takes time to put yourself out there, your name, your brand, for people to be able to want to buy from you and trust you. And the same goes for people that are in law school or studying to be a lawyer. It can take time to pass the bar exam to be a lawyer. The same thing goes for medical school. People right now that are in school, regardless to what school you're in, it's all a process, and making those decisions of what your future is going to look like are all going to be dependent upon those decisions that you make along the way, your practice habits, your study habits, the way that you learn. And I've even noticed myself, like from last year coming into this year, being more in tune, being self-aware is really going to be helpful, because there are some decisions and mistakes I made last year just from rushing and trying to hurry up and do something just for the sake of doing it. And because it's in my mind and it's something that I want to go after or I want to achieve, I've found where if I thoroughly take my time, it's not that I'm pushing anything off and I'm delaying anything and that it's not going to happen any sooner or any faster. It just means that I'm involving myself in the journey and I'm making sure that I'm being thorough and making the right decision, because when you rush, sometimes you find that, and this is just me talking for myself, that I found that you can make those mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can cost you money. It can cost you relationship, like in things that you could have invested in or done differently if you had waited, did more research, take some time to look at different options. Instead of just saying yes to the first deal that comes your way, being able to make better, thorough decisions and being the year of the snake. And when it says be thorough, be thoughtful in your decisions, I really resonated with that part. And I look forward to this year, considering again all the different odds and all the different scenarios that are going on around us and tragedies, just being able as people to focus and actually figure out how to set yourself up for long-term success are going to be key. And hopefully this Lunar New Year, whether you celebrate or not, is amazing for you. And whatever it is that you want to do or go after, whatever field it is, if you're a business owner, employee, side hustler, go for it in life. Wake set, go for it. But also make sure that when you're wake set going for it, that you're doing it thoroughly, you're focused, and you're executing on it, and you're setting yourself up for success. So thanks for tuning in, guys. It's Mercedes. Till next time.